Have you been tucking yourself into bed without a worry in the world? Our Earth seems like a relatively safe and sound place, doesn't it? Well, not really. Our planet is home to so many wild and disastrous places. There is an abundance of dangerous places around the world. Let's join us in checking them out. Skeleton Coast. Skeleton Coast is spread across the south of Angola to the north of Namibia. It stretches from the Kunene River, south, to the Swakop River. The Skeleton Coast ranks in the list of the deadliest places on Earth because of its harsh climate, and it offers almost zero chance of survival. The weather, hot winds, and lack of food and water makes it difficult for travelers to explore this silent place. Apart from harsh climatic conditions, the area is filled with bones of numerous animals, bones of whales, elephants, turtles, seals, etc., giving a sour appearance to the place. Apart from natural conditions, human threats, gang violence and robbery, make it unfit for tourists to explore the place. Undoubtedly, it is among the most dangerous places on Earth. Danakil Depression. It's been called one of the most alien places on Earth, a gateway to hell and, in the words of British explorer Wilfred Thesiger, a veritable land of death. The sulfurous hot springs, acid pools, steaming fissures, and salt mountains of the Danakil Depression resemble scenes from a science fiction movie. But the area is very real, and it's one of Ethiopia's top attractions. One of the hottest places on Earth, by average daily temperature, as well as one of the lowest, over 400 feet below sea level, the Danakil Depression entices three main types of people to the area: salt miners, scientists, and travelers. Scientists wonder whether if extremophiles, as they are known, can survive there, they can survive on Mars too. It's blistering hot. Compared with the hydrothermal zones in Yellowstone National Park, Danakil is hotter and more acidic. Danakil springs are around 212 F, 100 C, and have an average pH of 0.2. Compared with the average pH of lemon juice, 2.4, or battery acid, 1.0, it's easy to see why dipping a finger in the bubbling pool isn't advised. Proper footwear and a guide are essential. If that wasn't enough, the Danakil Depression boasts not one, but two active volcanoes. One of them, Erta Ale, has a lava lake bubbling at the summit that occasionally overflows, killing anything it touches. Oymyakon. Oymyakon is a small village located in the Oymyakonsky district in Russia. This place is considered to be one of the most dangerous places because of its extreme climatic condition. The severe temperature makes it impossible for life to sustain in this region. The temperature drops to as low as -40 degrees Celsius, -90 degrees Fahrenheit, making it impossible for tourists or travelers to visit the place safely as not many can survive this temperature. Apart from the heat, people do not visit this place as no vegetables are available and nothing can be grown, so the lack of food is another major issue. Only about 500 people have managed to settle down in this place and survive the bitter cold. The Elephant's Foot. 8 months after the April 1986 nuclear accident at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine, workers who entered a corridor beneath the damaged No. 4 reactor discovered a startling phenomenon: black lava that had flowed from the reactor core as if it had been some sort of human-made volcano. One of the hardened masses was particularly startling, and the crew nicknamed it the Elephant's Foot because it resembled the foot of the massive mammal. Sensors told the workers that the lava formation was so highly radioactive that it would take 5 minutes for a person to get a lethal amount of exposure. A decade later, the U.S. Department of Energy's International Nuclear Safety Project, which collected hundreds of pictures of Chernobyl, obtained several images of the Elephant's Foot, which was estimated to weigh 2.2 tons, 2 metric tons. Because Elephant's Foot was so radioactive, scientists at the time used a camera on a wheel to photograph it. A few researchers got close enough to take samples for analysis. What they found was that Elephant's Foot was composed of a rare substance called corium, which is produced in a nuclear accident when nuclear fuel and parts of the reactor core structures overheat and melt, forming a mixture. Corium has only formed naturally 5 times in history, once during the 3 Mile Island accident in Pennsylvania in 1979, once at Chernobyl, and 3 times at the Fukushima Daiichi plant disaster in Japan in 2011. The resulting mess that created Elephant's Foot is extremely dangerous. Generally, Lyman says, corium is much more hazardous than undamaged spent fuel because it is in a potentially unstable state that is more difficult to handle, package, and store. Wicked water. Just off the southeast coast of the United States, there lies a span of the ocean that's long held a fearsome reputation. Ships traversing its choppy breadth disappear without a trace. Flights routed above the waters blink from radar screens, never to be seen again. The mysterious happenings have conjured stories of supernatural interference, alien kidnappings, and an area somehow outside the normal bounds of physical reality. The Bermuda Triangle, it's said, is a haunted place. The Bermuda Triangle, as it's most commonly defined, stretches between Miami, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and the island of Bermuda. In all, it encompasses hundreds of thousands of square miles in the North Atlantic Ocean, a huge area. The region also sees heavy traffic from ships coming and going from the East Coast and the Gulf of Mexico. The Bermuda Triangle got its name from a 1964 article in the pulp magazine Argosy, which linked together with a few disappearances in the region. The deadly Bermuda Triangle didn't offer up any explanations for the occurrences, though it did heavily emphasize the mysterious nature of the area. The article features the disappearance of the USS Cyclops, a Navy supply ship, in 1918, and the loss of a flight of bombers during a practice run in 1945, as well as one of the search and rescue planes, sent out after them. In addition to the supernatural explanations, several more realistic explanations for the phenomenon have been put forward throughout the years, ranging from wayward magnetism to dangerous bubbles. The fact that the area within the Bermuda Triangle is heavily trafficked could account for some of the mystery. Any region with lots of ships going through it is bound to see more accidents than a place with less activity. Pair that with the fact that the Bermuda Triangle is often swept by hurricanes, and it's not hard to see why ships might occasionally sink there. Another common explanation for the Bermuda Triangle rests on magnetism. The Earth's magnetic North Pole isn't the same as its geographic North Pole, which means that compasses usually don't point exactly north. Only along what's known as agonic lines, which line up magnetic and geographic north, compass truly accurate. One agonic line runs from Lake Superior down through the Gulf of Mexico near the Bermuda Triangle. One theory holds that mariners, usually accustomed to accounting for a discrepancy in their compass readings, may make mistakes when very near to the agonic line that leads them astray. Paired with the often shallow waters of the island-strewn Caribbean Sea, navigational errors could lead to boats running aground on hidden shoals. Another theory posits that the Bermuda Triangle might be home to a large-scale magnetic anomaly, a region where the Earth's magnetic field lines are warped and twisted. This, too, could cause navigational mistakes. But, as others have noted, there's no evidence the Bermuda Triangle contains any unusual magnetic disturbances, something that's clear when looking at a magnetic map of the region. Whatever is ultimately responsible for the legend of the Bermuda Triangle, be it psychological or otherwise, it's worth remembering that there's never been any evidence that the region is any more dangerous than anywhere else. So go ahead and take that vacation to Bermuda, but, as always, make sure to wear a life jacket when you're out on the water. It's just common sense. Nika Crystal Cave. Some of the most beautiful places on Earth are also the deadliest. Just take the Nika Crystal Cave, for example. The massive giant crystals were discovered in 2000 after water was pumped out of the cave by a mining company. 2 miners saw the crystals when they entered the drying cave on foot. Don't bother packing your bags, though. Visiting these crystalline wonders is pretty much impossible now. That honestly might be a good thing. For all its splendor, the giant crystal cave once had the makings of a death trap. Giant Crystal Cave is a U-shaped cavity in the limestone below the Sierra de Nika. Roughly 98 feet, 30 meters, long by 33 feet, 10 meters, wide, it was filled with groundwater for tens of thousands of years. The water was originally driven upward into the opening by a magma chamber that's located deeper in the earth. This intrusive water contained the mineral anhydrite. Now at temperatures of 136 degrees Fahrenheit, 58 degrees Celsius, or more, anhydrite remains stable. But at lower temperatures, the mineral is liable to dissolve and then reform as gypsum. The magma underneath Giant Crystal Cave kept the water in the cave nice and hot. Eventually, however, the H2O's temperature dipped slightly below 136 degrees Fahrenheit, 58 degrees Celsius. After that happened, the anhydrate started breaking down, filling the water with calcium and sulfate. The particles slowly began recombining into a kind of gypsum known as selenite. It soon became clear that Giant Crystal Cave was an inhospitable place. Not only did the air temperature climb as high as 113 degrees Fahrenheit, 47.1 degrees Celsius, but the humidity levels were also close to 100%. The place was so humid that a visitor who lingered too long risked having fluids condense inside his or her lungs. That can be fatal. Which place do you think is the scariest place? Comment down below to let us know. If you enjoy the series, please hit like. Thanks for watching.